This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV Profit in association with NSC.
Welcome back. You're watching NDTV Profit, and the markets are looking very strong. On the Nifty now we are on 81.42, so we're inching in fact, towards the high of the day. We opened at the highest spot on the day at 81.51, and we're just about 10 points away from that, so the markets are looking very strong. Let's now focus on a pharmaceutical company. I'm talking of Panacea Biotec. It is tied up with a Canadian company, Apotex, for supply of 2 delivery-based generic products. To talk to us about this deal, we're joined by Dr. Rajesh Jain, Joint MD at Panacea Biotec. He is joining us from Delhi. Mr. Jain, thank you so much for speaking with us at NDTV Profit. First up, can you please tell us, under this strategic tie-up, what kind of upfront payment have you received for both these drugs?
Okay, thank you very much first of all for calling me this afternoon on your channel. This is a very important strategic collaborations that we have had with Apotex, which is basically a general agreement which allows us to develop very complex generics which Apotex themselves are unable to develop and then manufacture and supply to them. And this agreement is then allows almost every quarter the scientific teams of both the companies to keep adding products of common interest in this agreement. For the first 2 products, cumulatively, I believe we have approximately 12 to 13 million US dollars that will be received by the company as part of the whole milestone payments, out of which close to $2.5 million have already been received by the company, and close to $750,000 we expect will also walk in this month. So overall, I believe that this is going to add great value to Panacea Biotec in commercializing its R&D based products in North American markets as well as in Australia, New Zealand, and across the globe wherever Apotex have got a very strong distribution channel.
Right, so you said $12 to $13 million for the 2 products is the upfront payment. Now, I'm assuming there are other milestone payments which you will also get as you proceed along the development. So how much will those be? Product development, what kind of fees are you getting there?
There, I believe what we have done and come up with an idea was that each partner will put in 50% of the cost that is needed to put the whole dossier together. So we shall be receiving, as we move forward, 50% of the total development cost from Apotex as additional, milestone payments apart from what I have already told you.
So how much does that
for each product that we,
Right, so but how much does that translate to for both products, and what is the timeline?
Okay, in terms, I would prefer to answer more on the timeline first and then come up with some idea on how we look at it in terms of investment. We expect the first filing to be done somewhere around July 2016. And the second filing should be around September 2017. Now, what it entails is actually the cost of the exhibit batches that you will put into production and conduct some stability studies, including human biostudies. So it's very difficult to say that as of now what would that cost be, but I'm sure that as we go closer to the filings, we will know precisely how much cost generally it would take. But it can be in the range of $1 million to $2 million depending upon the molecule you're talking about, each dossier cost, which is what probably they will fund 50% of that.
Right. I want to understand then, once the filing starts happening and there is a launch pipeline as well, then what is the kind of profit sharing that you have? Is there a profit sharing with Apotex at all?
Yes, on commercialization, again, the same model applies. Once the product is shipped to them, the entire profits will be shared on 50 and 50 basis. 50% of profits they will retain after providing for their cost, and 50% of the profits we will retain.
So what are the drugs that you are developing with Apotex, the 2 drugs that you have signed up with them, and is there a scope for adding more drugs under your own proprietary program into this strategic alliance?
These are complex injectable products which use our proprietary technology around nanoparticles and liposomes, as I said, and there is definitely scope to add more products into this collaboration. We have a scientific team dedicated in identifying new opportunities that can be commercialized in the markets of common interest, which is generally North America, Europe, Australia and New Zealand. And these scientific groups from both the companies every quarter meet to finalize what kind of new products can be added. And since we have a huge pipeline of products already in development, so they give priority first to what's in development in Panacea. And as per my current understanding, we are looking forward to adding more new products in the next quarter or so into this collaboration.
All right, Dr. Jain. Good afternoon. This is Hina from the Delhi studio. Moving away from this particular strategic partner that you have had, I want to ask you, there are some reports suggesting that the company is looking to sell the hospital which the company was building in Gurgaon. Can you give some details? Can you confirm that to us?
We have been looking for a strategic collaborator for quite some time now. This I confirm to you. However, we are still in final negotiations and we really do not know the outcome that it will happen. So maybe as we move forward into the next financial year, we will have more details on this.
But is it in a way indicating that you are no longer going to, enter into the hospitality sector? Are you not seeing any kind of an opportunity anymore out there, or are you still looking and exploring options apart from this Gurgaon hospital that was there?
You see, hospital sector is a sector which has got direct relationship for the business that we do. So therefore this sector is going to be always attractive to us, whether it is today or tomorrow, and it has nothing to do with the strategic collaboration that we are looking at present. So it continues to be an area of interest for us even in the mid to long term.
Is there anything in the pipeline right now that you can talk about?
Not at the moment, but I am sure that as we have more details in the next quarter, we will be willing to talk about it.
Sir, if I remember right, the board had given the approval for 250 crore rupee of fundraising. Have you decided how this will be done?
Yeah, there are several models that the company is actually evaluating depending upon the market conditions. There are several even instruments which are available in the market, but nothing final as of now. So probably again, as I said, that we will be looking at it in the next quarter as to what would be the game plan of raising more funds for the normal day-to-day working of the company.
Right, sir, but can you tell us, will this entail some dilution of the promoters if it does happen next quarter?
Yeah, the whole strategy is to enlarge the investor base, and therefore all fundraising that we intend to now do will be at the equity level, and to ensure that there is a larger participation and therefore more availability of our equity at the market level, which is currently very restricted, and therefore this will help on both accounts. First, it makes available the funds to the company, and at the same time there is a larger equity base in which shareholders can freely trade on the shares.
Right. Dr. Jain, can you give us some details as to what's the current debt on the books and what's the interest cost at this point in time? Because we remember in FY14 it was slightly higher.
Actually, I don't have the figures at hand at this point in time, but largely what I understand is on an annualized basis, we were looking at a complete debt of 800 crores, out of which a substantial portion was in the form of, debt against the stocks that you have in a company. So maybe the real long-term loans would be close to 600 to 700 crores.
600 to 700 crores. Are you looking to reduce it, reduce the interest cost any time in this financial year? What's your target as far as your debt is concerned? Are you going to be comfortable with 600 crores by the end of FY15?
No, as I told you that the total debt amount, I don't have the figures offhand, could be in the range of 800 crore plus. However, what we are doing is we have entered into a discussion with our bankers, our joint lenders, for restructuring the whole debt for a longer period of time, which is in debt restructuring proposals. And September this year, the bankers have agreed to restructure the loan, and the approvals have been received. And the details of the whole debt restructuring will be known to the company by the end of this month, and we will be willing to discuss more details about it in the beginning of the next month.
All right, so we'll try and get you back once we get all the details. I guess Anisha has another question.
Yes, Mr. Jain, you said that you want to increase your shareholder base, but there are some shareholder groups that have been a little against the kind of what they call reckless diversification the company has undertaken. You have subsidiaries that are into SEZ, real estate, NBFC, tourist resorts, power plants. Is there any plan to realign your strategy, focus on your pharmaceutical business, wind down any of these subsidiaries which may not really be performing that well?
Okay, we need to really go a little bit deeper into it. It's just not the superficial information. When we went into this diversification, the company had used its own funds to, acquire those land banks, and the whole proposal at that time, which was way back, I'm talking of almost a time of 5 to 6 years back. At that time, SEZ biotechnology parks were quite a fashion of the day during those times, and we had some serious proposals in which we were wanting to put up, export-oriented units in those areas, and also leverage the whole eco-space of SEZ in biotechnology. However, there was a huge shift in the government, planning in terms of the incentives that would be given to SEZ, which is actually in public domain, and our whole SEZ plans were, had to be shelved. So there was, in that sense, these are not unrelated investments. These were very much in that time zone related investments. However, after that, we have been reconsidering our strategy, that in order to see the space, let's say 10 years hence, would we want to do the same things as we had planned in the last 5 years, given what has changed in the market. So there is a constant thinking in the company that we really need to restructure and resize the company and focus on our main business, which is pharmaceutical and biotechnology. So your answer is yes and no. And why I say no? Because I am not very clear of the timings in which we will be able to do it, but there is a strong intent and commitment in the company to make sure that we focus only on the biotechnology and pharma space in this company, and any other business should be done independent of this Panacea Biotec as a company.
All right, sir. Can you give us...
However, it is an issue of timing as to when do we really roll that out.
All right. Can you give us an update on what's the status of your DPT vaccine as well as the oral polio vaccine, which you had withdrawn from the WHO list of pre-qualified companies? Can you give us the update there?
Yeah, actually EZ5 TT vaccine, which is a pentavalent vaccine, was reintroduced last year. It was actually a very good day, 2nd October 2013, when the company got its WHO pre-qualification back, and then in December we got a long-term agreement from UNICEF, which was close to 360 crores, and after that there were several orders which got added. So the order book for the next 3 years has zoomed up to maybe more than rupees 400 crores. And January 2014 we started supplying this vaccine in the international markets, and since then the sales of the company are growing quarter after quarter. So EZ5 TT is back on track, and we are performing very well there. In terms of oral polio vaccine, we have done the entire refurbishment in the New Delhi plant, and I'm very pleased to share with you, Government of India has started the procurement from our company, and this month, very month, will be the month when we'll start delivering for the national immunization campaigns from December until February. And then we hope to see WHO sometime beginning next financial year, maybe in the Q1, when they are likely to come and audit us after we have done the refurbishments and after we have done the new batches, and there is a lot of data and activity available in the plant, and hopefully after that we'll start supplying to international markets from this plant.
So what is the value of the order that the polio order that you got from the government, and
okay,
where will you take the book in the next year? Should the WHO come through?
I was not very ready to give you these figures. I don't have the figures offhand, but I'm talking of something in the range of 100 crores plus is what the orders were. And please excuse me if these figures are not very accurate, but they will be in that range. Of 100 crore plus is the order book that we have from Government of India, which we shall be delivering from December to February, this and next year, beginning of next year.
All right, Mr. Jain, thank you so much for giving us all these details. We will touch base with you in early January to find out what happens to your debt restructuring plan. Thanks so much for joining us.
Meanwhile, markets clearly have started escalating even further. Both Sensex and Nifty are very close to that highest point of the day. But one news which I want to highlight at this point in time is coming from SpiceJet, and the stock has also moved up. There is a press release which has come up from SpiceJet saying that SpiceJet has now resumed normal operations as of today, with all 230 flights which were scheduled to operate today. So they have all started again, and also they will now be able to take advance bookings till about 28th of March 2015. The temporary restriction of 30 days which was there imposed by DGCA earlier, it has now been relaxed, and now they will be continuing to book their tickets till about March 28th and 2015. And we have seen a sharp reaction in the stock. The stock is up about 3.5% or so as we speak right now. We are slipping into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. The management of Prime Focus will be joining us after a short break.